Okay, this was my interview for EW 7060. So, some background on the person I interviewed, it was Miss Beth Sisson. She was a special educator for 27 years. That was in a self contained classroom. A professor of special education law, and she is now the student teacher coordinator at Bethel University. Uh, During the interview, she addressed a whole bunch of ethical issues that she encountered in over 30 plus years. The most memorable one that stuck with me that she spoke about was she had a friend that had a last minute appointment one day after school, and she contacted Miss Sisson and asked if she could take the student of hers home for just a few hours. Now, keep in mind that she taught in a rural community, probably about 300 kids in the whole school. So it's not like she didn't know the kid, but she stated that she hesitated, excuse me, because it was a friend in a small town, and she doubted that anybody would ever know, or much less they would mind. Even if a principal or a supervisor did find out, they probably wouldn't care given the year that it was and how small the town was. However, after she gave it some thought, she decided that she would not give the student a ride, and the mother ended up not talking to her for years. The mother really overreacted, according to Miss Sisson, and kind of blew it way out of proportion. But Miss Sisson said the reason she did not take the student home with her is that she recalled hearing a story of a teacher who gave a student a ride home, and they had a wreck on the way home. And of course, the teacher was held liable for that student. So, hearing this, the main code that I could think of was 1.6, uh, the harmful effect of multiple relationships. She was in a position of being the student's teacher, and had she decided to take the student home with her, that would put her in another relationship as far as personal with the parent, and it would hold her liable for different things that could happen to the student in the time that she had her. And so that's the code that really kind of stuck out to me in this situation. So after listening to Miss Sisson talk on her experience in education and the issues she encountered, I took some things away. The first of which was always establish expectations up front. Looking back, Miss Sisson said if she had told all of her parents up front, this is how it's going to go, I can do this, I can't do this, such as giving a student a ride, things like that, this issue would have never came up. The mother would have never gotten upset. It would have never happened. Another thing I took away was she did not worry about how it made her look to the parent. Um, she said, if it's right, it's right. It doesn't matter who it makes mad. Do the right thing. Have a plan, a backup plan, and then a plan to back up that plan. Um, One thing she said that as a teacher, something will always go wrong. It will never or hardly ever go like you plan it to go the very first time around. And then lastly, to always keep documentation no matter how small the issue may be. She said this basically just covers you. If, say, the parent said you said something different than what you did, she would have that documented, that conversation on record, proving that, she was not in the wrong. So, putting all this to use in the future, I plan to have expectations conveyed early and often with any clients that I may come across or work with. I will have multiple plans in place just in case anything goes wrong or something doesn't go as planned. I'll always keep documentation and keep somebody in the loop of what's going on, whether that be a supervisor or principal, as long as it's appropriate to share that information. And most importantly, be honest and upfront and fair with all the parents and clients that I may come across.